right, y'all. Our next guest has an amazing story to tell. She is doing just that in a new book called Here I Stand. In a beautiful state in 2009, she had a near-death experience, was placed in a medically induced coma. Shortly after that, her marriage fell apart, and and her 12-year-old son lost his life in a lake accident. And you may know her as Usher's ex-wife, but she made a name for herself as a celebrity stylist, entrepreneur, and now author. Y'all, please help me welcome to the show the one and only Tameka Foster-Raymond. Tameka.
Hey there. Hey, how are
thank
you?
for coming on this morning. How you been doing?
I'm awesome. How you guys doing?
We good this morning. Tell us about this book, and how did you know that you was ready to write your story, and self-publish, and what a reader's going to take away from it?
I started writing my book when I was going through my divorce in 2009. I started writing it. And it was kind of like a diary, just writing what I felt and what I was going through. And at the time, I was going through so many different emotions that I was like, I don't need to put this out because I was in a negative kind of space.
Right.
Then, when my son passed away, I picked up and started writing again in 2012. And then this last 18 months, this whole COVID time, I said, you know what? It's time to go ahead and finish that project, put everything together, and create your book.
Well, in your book, Tameka, you are very open talking about the tragic loss of your 12-year-old son. What message would you have for parents living with this type of loss of a child? Are there things that you do to keep his memory alive?
Absolutely. Well, Kyle was 11, so let me just correct. He was 11.
So sorry.
It's okay. He was 11. I have a foundation in his honor, Kyle's World Foundation. I also am working on an animated project that is really, really nice. It's about a middle child going through just middle child stuff. It's very funny, very pop culture heavy, fashionable. And so that's called The Odd Life of Kyle Lyles. So hopefully the cartoon will come to fruition sooner than later.
So, Tameka, what's up? You spent years behind the scenes doing your thing, but, once you married old Ush, you were thrown into the media. Ush. And in your book, you talk about all that shock and frustration and different emotions you went through from that. What would you say the hardest part about that time in your life was?
I just felt very lonely. It was hard because, I was going through, I was in a bubble. I was in a glass. I felt like I was in a glass jar. Everybody was just looking at me and, making judgments and creating all these scenarios about who I was. And I think the hardest thing was that my own sisters, was black girls. They did not support me. They, had lots of negatives to say, and they didn't know me. They just really had the wrong stories, I'll tell you.
So, Tameka, now most people know you as the ex-wife of Usher. Now, for other women who are going through or have gone through a divorce, what advice do you have about redefining yourself after divorce?
That's a loaded question, but I would say you have to move on. Number one, I've definitely moved on. I get a lot of questions like, hey, why do you still have his last name? Why are you still Raymond? I have children. It's such a headache trying to go to the passport office and change all your credit cards. And, when you get married, you just get the name. It's easier. And it's also I just filled out a field trip form. It had so many dang questions, but it was good. All the last names were the same.
Right.
Right. It really does help. I think people overthink that little factor. Hell, I earned it, too.
Right.
Okay. I know that's right.
Okay.
Well, you really got a bounce back story, and besides the release of your book, tell us what other good stuff you have going on.
Well, like I said, I'm working on my animated project. I have a clothing line called Eli Kish. Eli Kish is a loungewear, luxury loungewear, all silk and linens and all this loungewear. And I have Cote de Jour, my clothing line. So I'm in the fashion thing. I'm still doing it.
Hey, congratulations on everything. Ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for getting up early to come on with us. We really appreciate you, and we support you.
I love you guys.
Love you. Guys. We love you back.
Love you
back. And we still praying for you because, that's some of the stuff you went through, especially with your son, that you never get over or whatever. you know, and I definitely changed my life because I'm always on the water, but I'm extra cautious and careful after seeing what y'all went through. So we just really love you and appreciate you. And thank you so much for joining us today. Let the people know one more time how they can get the book called Here I Stand in a Beautiful State.
Yes, it's available on TamekaRaymond.com. It's also on Amazon, but I prefer you go to my website and support us over there at TamekaRaymond.com.
There it is.
Right.
All right, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for Tameka Foster-Raymond.